What's going on, everybody? Happy Monday. Joe Metz with FTNDaily here to introduce our new NFL Splits Tool 2.0 for the 2021 NFL season. If you haven't checked out this Splits tool on either FTN Fantasy or FTN Daily, you're doing yourself a disservice. This tool is one of the most comprehensive splits tools that I've ever seen in the industry, and it has a dual purpose used for both fantasy football and season-long leagues and daily fantasy sports every single week. Tyler Lochner, one of the greatest writers at FTN, wrote an article showcasing how you can use it for your season-long fantasy leagues on FTNFantasy.com. My focus today is going to be taking you through the tool and how you can apply it to your daily fantasy research. So let's dive into it. If you want to find it, first and foremost, you want to find it on the FTNDaily.com website. Go to Premium Stats or NFL HQ. Go to NFL HQ, click Splits Tool under Premium Tools. And voila, here you have it. One very, very visually appealing, shows you trending splits, what people are looking up the most. And again, I mentioned the fact that this is a multifaceted splits tool. It's not simply a splits tool that operates to show you a player's production when one is off the field and one's not. You can search anything from snap count to matchup to opponent to date, you name it, we have the splits. So how are you going to use it for DFS? Remains to be seen. Obviously, in DFS, two things that matter the most are opportunity and matchup, and that's what I'm going to run through today. If you want to look at opportunity first, say, hypothetically, what kind of production does Latavius Murray, the New Orleans Saints RB2, put up with Alvin Kamara when he's out of the lineup? It's a good question. Let's find out. So first things first, you want to set your player or team, whichever you're looking for. In this situation, we're looking for a player. So search offensive player, just search Latavius Murray. Next, and then you can apply your global filters. This can be the span of time you're looking for. Obviously, we want weeks 1 to 18 because we want the stretch over the entire season. Years, we'll go 2018 to 2021, last 3 years. Should be when Latavius Murray was on the Saints. You click next, and this is how you're going to generate your split. As you can see, you have player splits, which dictates when players are in and out of the lineup or are active or not. Time periods, again, year, week, you name it. You can narrow it down further than the global filters above. Teams, this is where you're going to look for opponents. Location, you want home, away, condition with weather or a dome, you name it. And betting, you want to look for how a player performs. If the game is an over-under 52 or more, you can get that here. Point spread, if they're the 7.5-point underdog or more, you can find that here. Scoring margin in a game that ended in a 10-point deficit, you can find that split here. So as I said, we're going to look at Alvin Kamara out of the lineup and run the split. Super easy. And voila, here you have it. Literally everything you need right in front of you. Has your basic stats, rush attempts, rush yards, touchdowns, targets, receptions, receiving yards, and receiving touchdowns. As you can see, Latavius Murray does have some standalone value in season long, potentially without Alvin Kamara, but this isn't really going to get it done in DFS. On the other hand, if you're looking at 12 carries for 50 yards, one catch on almost 2.5 targets for 12 extra yards, over just about half a touchdown per game. So he's averaging roughly a touchdown every other game without Alvin Kamara. Gives him a good chance to find pay dirt given his the amount of run he'll get without Alvin Kamara. You can visualize it as well to show the games with and without Alvin Kamara. Again, in split is the light purple. In split average is going to be right here, the baseline, the dotted line. Out of split is going to be this dark line. And then out of split average is going to be that line. So frankly, it's always easier in split average versus out of split average right there. Again, really nice way if you're looking to put it in an article, looking to put it in a text to a buddy. You can visualize it really well. You can also narrow it down to what DFS site you are playing specifically by clicking the Edit Display button in the top right corner, and you customize all of your display stats, the stat calculation, average games per season. You can change the in and out splits if you just want the pure difference or the percentage change. As you see, it's kind of grayed out here, but as you can see, minus 31% in carries as opposed to just minus 3.9 carries per game when Alvin Kamara is in the lineup. You can click and unclick what stats you want included. And again, one of the biggest and most important things here is this scoring down here, especially if you're looking at DFS. Obviously, no loss fumbles. Snaps are actually a pretty decent one to have. But you're looking at FanDuel and DraftKings, you want to add those as to where he'd be a good bet. He's averaging over 10 FanDuel points per game, over 11 DraftKings points per game with Alvin Kamara out. If you say, you know what, 2 years ago, not necessarily something I really want to consider, given it was a completely different offense, you can go back, reset your global filters, and change it to the last 2 seasons with 2019, 2020. Look at the jump there now. Alvin Kamara in 2 games over the last 2 seasons without Latavius Murray without Alvin Kamara. 2 games in the last 2 seasons out of 33 total games, 24 rushing attempts per game, 110.5 rushing yards per game, averaging now 2 touchdowns per game, not that 0.5 that we talked about if you include 2018, and an astronomical amount of fantasy points. So as you can see, this is a really, really quick and easy way to find out who benefits when someone's out of the lineup. But again, that's not the only use for this. One of the other biggest aspects of DFS is matchups. So why don't we redo the filter? I'm just going to go back up to NFL HQ, click the splits tool to reset it. Come down here. Let's see Amari Cooper, someone in the NFC East, one of the best receivers in the NFC East. The NFC East is also home to one of the worst secondaries in football over the last handful of years in the Philadelphia Eagles. So we'll take Amari Cooper. Want to see how he's done from the last 2 seasons in Dallas, 2019 to 2020. Weeks 1 to 18, we obviously want the whole season. And instead of player split, we're going to keep everything as is. We go to teams, get rid of Arizona, and click put the team's abbreviation in, and you can see how he does against the Philadelphia Eagles versus any other team. So Philadelphia is the 4 games right here. Out of split 28 is the 28 games he's played against any other opponent since 2019. As you can see, targets are roughly about the same. Receptions down, receiving yards down. So even though Philadelphia has been a very exploitable secondary, we haven't really seen that production from Amari Cooper. If you want to run this example one more time with a different player, let's search DeAndre Hopkins. And you want to look just last year when he came over to Arizona. You want to see how he did. You want to see how he did against not Philly. Let's say a tougher secondary in Denver. We're going to have a game against Denver. That is on me. Let's find a game against Vegas, not Oakland. Las Vegas Raiders, no game. It's going to take me a little bit to find a team that they played. Here you go. New York Giants. He's played 1 game against the New York Giants last season. 15 games, obviously, the rest of the schedule against different opponents. As you can see, 11 targets, 9 catches, 136 yards against was kind of an underrated Giants secondary with their new pieces last season. But again, he's typically putting up 7 receptions, 10 targets, 84, almost 85 yards a game, almost half a touchdown per game. So obviously you will end up like I did. You will end up pulling teams. It was Houston, where they might not have played last year. So obviously the split didn't come up with 0. That doesn't mean you did something wrong. That just means that there is not a game matching the criteria you selected within the time span you selected. So for me, DeAndre Hopkins, the Cardinals, did not play the Texans last year. So there's obviously no filter to apply. If you want to stretch this over 2018 to 2020, obviously wasn't on the Cardinals every year, but you will have a much higher chance of finding something for every opponent. So if we want to pull that up one more time, he was on Houston most of the time. So let's go against the Falcons. 1 game against the Falcons over that span. You want to go with the Jaguars. 4 games against the Jaguars. You name it, we have the split for it and the matchup. The global filter lets you go back all the way into the year 2000. Obviously, there's not any NFL players from 2000 playing today, but you want to go back to 2015, 2014, 2013, you name it, we have the split. Again, you can find this by going to NFL HQ on FTNDaily.com. If you have not signed up for FTN Daily's NFL package quite yet, click on the Join Now button at the top. The early bird special with the optimizer included, $45 off, $229.99. It is not going to stay at this price forever. The first 100 people to buy it. So if you are not within that, the price will go up and you'll be subject to that new price. But again, in addition to the optimizer, you get the splits tool. Every piece of player projections from Kyle Murray, the optimizer, the live before lock shows, all the exclusive content, the Magic Sports Guide game-by-game breakdown every year, premium Discord chat with myself and other experts, and this also includes the postseason as well. It expires after the Super Bowl. One of the best values in the business. Again, Joe Metz, FTNDaily.com, JMetz34 on the Twitter machine. If you have any questions about the splits tool, feel free to reach out, ask me.